Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is May the 4th, 2021. And it's also a Tuesday, so we've got Trivia Tuesday on Star Wars Day, May the 4th. The theme is definitely going to be Star Wars today. And it's not like super insane trivia, like, what was the name of the character who was sitting in the background of like such and such a place. So it's not like super crazy, but it ties into a couple of things, Star Wars, obviously, but also I'm feeling optimistic about lots of stuff happening in the world, the ability to travel, maybe not world travel, but traveling. So we're going to wrap in kind of some destinations, some Star Wars, and that's what we'll do for the live stream today. Hopefully you're doing okay. I've got my afternoon coffee ready with me. I'm very excited for afternoon coffee today because it's a kind of a gloomy day here in Chicago. It was like kind of like spitting rain, like not drizzling, but like kind of I felt like I was just running through fog. So it was a foggy day for sure, but kind of wet, very cold. I mean, relatively speaking for May now. But I didn't have any gloves. I did run in shorts and a t-shirt, but by the time I got back, my hands were so cold that I couldn't put the leash on the dog to go walk the dog afterwards. I had to get my daughter to help me. Eventually I got it without her help, but I called her over. I was like, I need your help. I can't get the leash on. So it was a little bit chilly today. And since then it's just been kind of like wet outside, drizzling, cloudy. I can't see much of the city skyline from where I sit. Normally I see a couple of the skyscrapers, but yeah. But good day for afternoon coffee. How's everybody doing? How you guys doing on the podcast? If you guys are listening on the audio only version, hopefully you're having a good run today. And if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, hopefully you're doing well. Let's talk to some people here who have come in live. Robert Hodge says, first to post, LOL, doing some recovery foam rolling after a tough strength workout. How is everybody? Awesome. Yeah, I think I need to do some, I normally don't do a lot of the massage gun, but I think I need to spend some time with the massage gun. I've had pretty high mileage the past, week and a half now, I would say. I think my mileage for like the last rolling 7 days is close to like 80 miles, maybe 78 miles, something like that. So the mileage has ramped up quickly, getting ready for that 50K. And I started doing some of those plyometrics, doing some strength exercises. So like lots of parts of my body are a little bit sore. So it might be a little bit too much all at once, but today I did actually feel like, all right, I'm catching up. There's like a big jump in load, but the body is like starting to kind of like feel like it can handle it a little bit. So we'll see how things go on the midweek long run tomorrow. But yeah, I could use some either foam rolling or some massage a good time for sure. All right. Robert also says, Kopozy, I was doing some research on the A6 Glide Ride 2 yesterday. Do you have any thoughts on them? Also, have you ever played Call of Duty Mobile? I've never played any of those Call of Duty games. I keep wanting to get into them, but I'm also like, if I do, I'm just I have enough things that are kind of like demanding my attention that I'm like, I really can't get sucked into that. Cause if I start, I'll easily slip into like a rabbit hole. So I haven't played any of those games before. I wish I could, but perhaps if I didn't have like a YouTube channel, then I might have the time for it. But like basically all my free time kind of gets funneled that way. So yeah, I wish I did. But as far as the Glide Ride 2, yeah, I feel like Seth really liked the Glide Ride 1. I remember, he ran a fundraiser, like 50K, was it? About a year ago now, I think. So he really liked them for long distances on the road. I swore that I was going to get both the Glide Ride 2 and the Evo Ride 2, like the moment they came out. And then like, I don't know, this year's been weird. Year's been very weird in terms of what has been grabbing my attention and what hasn't. And so I haven't picked up either the Glide Ride, which I consider more of like a longer run shoe, or the Evo Ride, which I consider as being more of like a threshold workout type shoe or a long run workout shoe. So I will eventually get to them. I don't know when, but soon. I have high expectations for both of those shoes. All right. Brian E says, could it be Star Wars trivia today? Oh, yeah. And Albert Lung says, may the force be with you on your runs today, everyone. Yeah, you know what? I was looking at something today that someone was like, the response to when someone says, may the force be with you, what I find annoying is that, what was it? Was it the last movie or maybe the movie before that in this last triad? Was it Princess Leia that responded back and also with you? which seems natural to me because it's like a church thing, right? Peace be with you and also with you. You say it, that's like a reflex. But in the original 3 episodes, 4, 5, 6, no one ever says anything back to when someone says, "May the Force be with you." If I am understanding that right? No one, that the appropriate response to "May the Force be with you" is nothing. Am I wrong? Am I wrong on that? But I guess they changed things in, I think it was at episode 8 or maybe episode 9. So I don't know. What do you guys feel about that? I feel like there should be no response. It's just like a nod, like you know, like when Harrison Ford says, "I know," like, you know, they're just like, there's nothing to say. You just I don't know. Thank you. like in Wayne's World. All right, let's see who else is here before I get too much more further on a Star Wars rant. Jason Dahl says, "Hi everyone. Hope the Force is strong with you all today." Awesome. Mark says, "I'm loving all the Star Wars memes today." Nice. And JC says, hope to stick around long enough to get a few bad guesses in. All right, we'll get to the game. We'll get to the game real soon. Let's see. Kevin Bickerton says, "Hi, Kofuzi." Ishan Kalra back again. What's going on, Ishan? Good to see you. Shannon is here. What's going on, Shannon? How are you? Sue N says, "Here with no answers and terrible trivia skills." That's kind of the best contestant. That's like the ideal contestant. I love it. I love it. There's no points. There's no prizes. So it's just, we're just here to have fun and hang out. And Philip says, "Is it bad that I never was a fan of Star Wars?" Totally okay. Totally okay. You're still welcome here, Philip. I'm not going to cancel you over not being a fan of Star Wars. All right, Ryan Clayton says, "Star Wars drama, let's do it." Yeah, I'm not trying to start up any like major dramas, but that is one thing that kind of like bugs me about it. I don't know. I mean, I guess there's lots of little things that do bug me about it, but yeah. Yeah, Kainuan says the appropriate response is to say it back to them. Yeah, "May the Force be with you." May the Force be with you. Yeah, I would definitely go with that. Although I'm not sure that I've ever heard anyone say anything back to it. Someone would have to point that out to me. I'd be like, I need an episode and a timestamp, and I'd love to see that. But as far as I know, there's only been one like verbal response. It's usually like you know, like the head nod, you know, like as Anakin is going off to you know, engage in a battle from those like helicopter things. You know, I don't know. Like I just feel like, yeah. All right. Albert Neverez says, "Speaking of Star Wars, any plans on reviewing the Rebel 2? Nicely done, sir. Yeah, I do. I'm still waiting. I mean, I haven't checked in the last couple of days, but the Rebel 2 is finally available in the US. It was available in the UK for so long, and then finally available in the US, but only in the one color so far. I'm waiting for some of the other colors to be released because I'd rather run in that. I mean, I feel like the initial rush to get a review out and kind of scoop everybody is over. I've lost that kind of race to everyone already. And so at this point, I'm just going to get the color I really want. So Frank says, "What do you say in response to 'Live long and prosper'?" I don't know. You just put your hands up, right? You don't say anything, do you? That's what I thought. I don't know. Scott says, "Today's my anniversary. Star Wars Day." Awesome. Very, 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 very cool. It's going to be hard to forget that anniversary. Although I could easily see it being like, like telling your wife, "Are you excited? May the 4th is coming." And then your wife is like, "Wow, he's really excited about our anniversary." That'd be funny. And then if you totally forgot, I could see that happening to me. All right, we got super chat from Lucas H. Thanks so much, Lucas. Says, "I typically can't make the live stream, but still watch the recording every day. Thanks for all the great videos and awesome community here." Well, thanks so much, Lucas. And so glad you can make it here today. Thanks for your support. And thanks for letting me know that you guys are watching it afterwards. I know I could see like some of the numbers, you know, but it's good to hear that, you know, some people are still like tuning in, even somewhat regularly, even if not every day. It's pretty cool to see. All right. Yeah, Saragon McKenney says, "Yo, Mr. Ko, looks like the Force is with Seth Damore. He mistakenly got sent some Saucony Speed 2s. Nice colorway and new heel counter." What does that mean, mistakenly? I didn't see his I knew that you guys told me that he had gotten them, and then I saw that he had some. What does that mean, mistakenly got sent some Saucony Speed 2s? That's interesting. That's cool. That's a cool Force power to have. All right. Let's get to the first question. But first we do that. It looks like we have a running question. If anyone's new here I'd love to hear where you're watching from if you feel comfortable sharing that. But if you came here with a running question, feel free to put it in any time, because otherwise we're just going to be playing trivia and hanging out. It's not really that running related for the trivia, although I do tie it in. I found a way to tie it in at one point. So feel free to ask a question. So Van Trong Duong says, hello, everyone. Hello, Kofuzi. Could you please talk more about running injuries? I face IT band syndrome and have a half marathon race on 6/6. Can I recover for it? And a 4-leaf clover emoji. I'm not sure. I've not had IT band syndrome myself. I know it can be somewhat tricky. You have a half marathon race on June 6th. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, it depends on, there's a lot of stuff going on with that. If you know you have IT band syndrome, that's something that I would go and seek help for, see a physical therapist, see if they can help you out with that and get you on a rehab program that can help alleviate it. And whether you can come back for 6/6, you might be able to run it, whether you'll be able to race it or race it for shooting for a PR, that could be a total different story. And that's all going to depend on how deep you're into it, the injury, how bad the injury is, and how good your recovery goes. So there's just a lot of variables. I'm not sure I can promise you that you can recover in time for it, but it is something that IT band syndrome is something that I think can linger for a long time. And it would be something that I'd be worried that if you didn't get it kind of taken care of at the it's already bothering me phase, that it could turn into something worse. So, all right. Chris Larson says, hey, all, watching from the Houston area. Welcome, Chris. All right. Let's get to the first question for today. All right. Question number 1, Star Wars trivia, May the 4th. All right, here we go. In Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, we meet the Ewoks, who live on the forest moon of Endor. But where on Earth is Endor? Like, what I'm looking for is, so all these places we're going to talk about today are places in the Star Wars universe, but they were filmed somewhere. And a lot of these are from before the time of a lot of green screening. And so they had to be filmed on location for a lot of these. So where are they? Luis Becerra says the 1492 galaxy, and Brian Paul says it's a moon. That's no moon. It's a Death Star. All right. Let's see. Someone else coming. Oh, Barry Persing coming in from Michigan. What's going on, Barry? Sorry about that. Hi, Barry. How are you? And Mika Kataya says, evening from Helsinki. Won our Kenyan fartlek today. Zoomfly 3s I picked up cheap from sales are really working for me for these runs. Oh, yeah. I think the Zoomfly 3 is best used for a fartlek type of run. Some sort of longer workout where you're going to be moving a little bit quicker. That's why I think it's great. Awesome. Glad to hear it. All right. Let's see. I have an answer for this first one, though. It's a little bit vague. So some of you guys might be right. But we'll have to see. Alex says this is New Vienna, Iowa. No, it isn't. But New Vienna is beautiful. But there aren't a lot of redwood. If you're not familiar with the forest moon of Endor, it is a place with lush greenery, like a covered forest floor, but also extremely tall trees. Suan says Portland, Oregon, which is close, but not quite it. LS says Amazon rainforest. No, that's not it. And Diogo Magalai says it's in the Outer Rim territories. Wait, is the forest moon in the Outer Rim? I don't think it's in the Outer Rim, right? Anyway, yeah. Will Gravel says Santa Cruz, California. It's a little bit further north than there, I think, right? Santa Cruz is Southern California, right? All right. Mark Chankoko says Hawaii. Nope. Shannon also thinking about New Vienna, Iowa, thinking it's in a cornfield. It's not it. It is. All right. Lucas H had it first. Northern California, Redwood Forest. Yeah. So it is in the, let me see what my notes say. In the Redwood National Parks in that area. But a lot of like the main scenes from Endor were shot on private lands that were owned by a lumber company. So apparently a lot of the more iconic scenes, like they don't look that way anymore, but there are certain parts of it that were filmed in national parks. So like you can go and visit some of those. You know what I was trying to see if there was like a race in that area. Like that would be cool. Like a race to Endor or race on Endor. That'd be amazing if there were some, because I know that there's some companies that do like travel races in national parks. I was like, oh man, if that was one, that should totally be one. I would love to do that. All right. Let's see. I saw someone else had a question here. Let me see if I can get to that question real quick. But it was further up. Hopefully it's still here. Let me see if I can find. All right, Pretty Gupta says, Michael, having problems for a long time. If I take a 5-day break or something like that, I lose my stamina. I have to start all over again. Is this due to underdeveloped aerobic base or something like that? It sounds like it. It can be. I mean, it depends on what you're going in with. So, like, if you're someone that frequently takes breaks, like maybe you're running for a couple months at a time and then you take a break, or you're running for like maybe a month intensely and then you take a break. A 5-day break could do something like that. And I suspect you're not starting completely over, but it might certainly feel like that. I do remember, like, back in high school, a lot of times, like the early parts of the season, coach would see us on Friday and we wouldn't always have a Saturday practice and we usually wouldn't have a Sunday practice. And he would say, if the next time you guys run is Monday afternoon, you're going to feel like crap. So make sure you get out there and get just an easy run on Saturday, if not Saturday and Sunday. And of course, most of us wouldn't run Saturday and Sunday. And on Monday, we'd always feel terrible. So, like, yeah, it's something, your body's still trying to get in shape. It's not just your aerobic base. It's everything. If 5 days is going to make you feel like you're starting over again. So, like, I would suggest try and maintain some sort of consistency, even if it's just 20 minutes. Get out there and move, even if all you can do is walk jog. Just make sure you're creating that habit. Part one of it is so your musculoskeletal system and also your aerobic systems can get attuned to what you want it to do. Number two, so you also get in the habit of making time for running, if that's something that you want, making time for it so that way you don't get into the habit of 5-day breaks. So that's kind of how I take a look at that. All right. Drew Reed says, happy to be watching from Copenhagen. I'm training for a half marathon this September and hoping it won't get canceled due to COVID. It's Olympic National Forest. Is it Olympic National Forest where it is? I don't know. I thought I sourced all this information. I'll post a link to the source for a lot of this information after the trivia for today, but I sourced it all from kind of like one source. I guess you guys can Google it if you really wanted to cheat, but that would take the fun out of it. All right. Well, glad to see you, Drew. You know what? It's been surprising to see that a lot of other races are still getting canceled right now in the US, because you feel like things are improving. Like lots of other things are like, restrictions are being eliminated. Florida's going, doubling down as Florida tends to do, and doing its own thing. But, New York, Connecticut, New Jersey have set dates for reopening everything. Chicago's setting some dates for hopefully reopening by the 4th of July. So, yeah. So, I mean, but to see that, like, especially trail races that are getting canceled right now, that's really surprising to me. So, all right, let's get to the next question for today. All right. Number 2, at the end of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, Luke Skywalker exiles himself to planet, I don't know if I'm going to say it right, Ahch-To. But where on Earth is Ahch-To? It's a beautiful place. If you guys aren't familiar with the movie, it's a place where it looks like it's a water-covered planet with like jagged outcroppings of these little tiny islands that look like it's basically just like sheets of slate and maybe granite and some other sharp, slippery stones. The set was absolutely amazing, but it is an actual real-world place. Where is that real-world place? Brian Paul says some island in the UK. Very good. Very good. You're in the right vicinity. H. Lee says West Texas. I don't think there's a lot of water in West Texas. I could be wrong. I don't think I've been in West Texas before. I think the farthest west I've ever been in Texas is Houston, to give an example. I mean, I'm not saying that that's west, but I'm just letting you know. AJ Munn says Hawaii. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like it could be Hawaii, but it definitely looked colder than I envisioned most of Hawaii being. Again, I've never been to Hawaii either. Sarah Guy McKinney asks, have you ever read any of Darren and Finn's books, Running with the Kenyans, Way of the Runner, and Rise of the Ultra Runners? Which one is best? I've read all 3 of those. I like Running with the Kenyans the best. I like his stories about like lions and him just like bringing his family. I don't know. That's also the one I read first, so there might be a primacy bias there, but I did like that one the most. And I don't think that's the first book he wrote. It's the first book I read. Did I say that right? Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here from answers? Frank says it's New Zealand. I mean, there's so many beautiful areas in New Zealand. An area that I'd love to travel to. But no, it's not New Zealand. Let's see who has it. Namaste says Ireland. Philip says near Scotland. It's not Scotland, I think. I wasn't on Backshot. Wants to know if it's Yeovil. Nice. I love it. Yeah, I think it's in Ireland. Let's see what my notes say. Yeah, it's a place in Ireland known as Skellig Michael. I think that's how you say it. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And there's like stone beehive huts in there. Those were like actual, like they didn't make those for the movie. I don't know. I'm sure they must have recreated some to get the cameras inside and stuff, but like a lot of those structures are like indigenous to the island. And according to my source, they were part of an ancient monastery dating back to the 6th century. That's crazy. I think only like 180 people are allowed to visit the island like a day. And so it's hard to get to, and the weather is usually, or like the waters are usually pretty rough. So like I remember hearing some commentary in terms when the movie first came out. They're like, it was a difficult place to film. All right. Let's see. Brett Reed wants to know, and can you hear the crowd when there's a Cubs game? Day game going on right now. Got it on the TV while watching Trivia Tuesday. Sometimes I can. If the windows are open and if it's not a windy day, then sometimes you can hear it. The thing that we tend to hear the most, and it's always very faint because we're a little bit over like, just as like the crow flies, we're a little bit over like a mile, maybe a mile and a half from the stadium. Sometimes we can hear when there's concerts and they're like doing their sound checks and stuff during the day, then we can hear it. When they redid Wrigley, like what's it? The Ricketts family, the new family that bought it, the crazy ones. When they bought it, they redid a lot of the sound system, and the speakers, instead of pointing down at the stadium, they were pointed a little too high up. So I could like hear the announcer. Like I couldn't exactly hear what they were saying, but you could hear like, so like you could hear like stuff in the background. So you could hear like intonations in voice, and it was like crazy loud. It felt like they were blasting it like straight outside of the stadium. Then they tilted all the speakers down, and so then things are better. But yeah, sometimes I can hear a little bit of what's going on there. Frank says the Rio Grande and the Pecos are about 6 feet wide right now, and they're the most water in West Texas. Ah, I see. Yeah, I've never been anywhere in West Texas. Rodrigo Yara Picardo says, have you read Killian's book, Run or Die? I'm really liking it. I haven't. I didn't know he wrote a book. I'll have to check that out. All right. Josh Greenberg says, any thoughts on the Endorphin Speed 2? I don't know much about it. I'm going to try to avoid as much content about it because it's a shoe that I am eagerly anticipating. It's one of those things where I loved the Speed 1, and I think that like if they release the Speed 1 in 2021, it'd be an amazing shoe. But like they can't just give us the same shoe twice, right? So minor things that I'm looking for is, are they going to get rid of some of the junk on the back? Like can they clean it up a little bit and make it just like a little bit more stripped down from some unnecessariness, keeping in mind that it's not a racing shoe. So like, yeah. So, but I am really much looking forward to it. All right. Chris Larson says, I have really enjoyed my New Balance 1080 V10s. Is RC Elite a logical choice for marathon race day, or should I look at other brand suggestions? I would say that the Fuel Cell TC is probably the more logical choice for marathon race day. The RC Elite, at least version 1, I don't think is a marathon shoe. For me, after an hour in it, my foot starts to hurt. My right foot starts to hurt. I think that there's something going on in my foot strike where my right foot slaps a little bit more than my left foot does, because I don't have that problem with my left foot, but my right foot is always the first to go, so to speak. But I feel it in that one, and I just don't feel like it has the cushion to be a marathon racer. I think that they've changed out a lot with the RC Elite 2. I don't have that one yet, so I'm highly optimistic that the RC Elite 2 will be the choice. I haven't heard anything about a fuel cell TC2, so hopefully they've kind of like split the difference between those two shoes and given us a true marathon super shoe. So that's kind of like where I'm thinking that later this year I'll be able to tell you that the RC Elite 2 is the logical choice, but for now it's the TC. True Marine says, if you're in West Texas, don't park your car under a tree overnight. Tons of birds flock to these things and then poop all over your car. That was my experience, at least. I don't know why, but I love that story. Love that story. All right. And Vlad Vajnar says, hey, Mike, do you have any plans regarding spending time in the countryside, Iowa, such as last year? Quite missing the nature-wise shots from running and being chased by dogs. Yeah, we're hoping so. We're hoping to spend some time there this summer. So we'll see about that. All right. Well, let's get to question number 3 for today. All right. Question 3. Both Anakin Skywalker and Luke Skywalker, they grew up on the hot desert planet of Tatooine. But where on Earth is Tatooine? And specifically, I'm looking for the scenes that Anakin Skywalker shot on, or that was shot with Anakin Skywalker on Tatooine. I don't know if the answer that I have is actually the same answer for like Luke's time on Tatooine when he was with living with his uncle and his aunt, but yeah. So that's the question I'm looking for. Casey says, haha, speaking of West Texas. Brian Paul says Egypt. That's no. Drew Reed says, where did it go? Death Valley? Could be. Mark Coco also says Egypt. Come to think of it, though, I'm not sure if that's a wrong answer. Frankly, I don't. My knowledge of geography is just horrendously bad. So I'm not sure. Martha says it's a New Orleans Cajun suburb. That's so funny. AJ Munn says Sahara. That's what I would have guessed. And I guess I don't know what the boundaries of the Sahara are, so I'm not sure that that's necessarily wrong. It took me a long time, even my knowledge of geography is just so bad, to know that H. Lee says Death Valley. It took me a long time to realize that Death Valley and the Mojave Desert were in the United States. I didn't learn that until probably college. I don't know. I used to blame it very adamantly on like New Jersey public schools. I just think that I have always just intentionally not cared about geography. It's probably related to the fact that I also just get lost all the time. I can get lost in a mall. So I won't get lost in a mall. That's not true. I almost never get lost in the mall, but like in a park or outside, I get lost. Amusement parks, I get lost all the time. I got lost in the San Diego Zoo. In my defense, it's a really big zoo, but yeah, yeah. I just have a horrible grasp on geography. All right. Oh, Ted and Ruth has the answer. Oh, you're not the first one though. Student says Venice Beach. No. Venice Beach is nice. Has water and stuff. All right. So let's see. A couple of you guys have it. Martha's close with Algeria. Let's see. Jason Dahl. No. H. Lee. No. A lot of you guys had it eventually. I think Alex C had it first. Tunisia. So the answer that I have is that Tatooine. There's a place in Tunisia called Tatooine. It's spelled a little bit different, but a lot of the architecture and the vibe that they were going for in filming the sets on Tatooine were the inspiration for Tatooine, the city or the planet in Star Wars. But the actual place is called Tozeur, Tozeur, which is about 5 hours away. So there's a set. They built a little mini city set. And then apparently it's abandoned. It's still there, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of you guys had it. H. Lee had it. Jason Dahl said somewhere eastish, right? Like Tunisia. And Mika Kataya says Tunisia. Been there. Cool place. Awesome. Very cool. Woodrunner had it as well. Josh Hartman. You guys are good. You guys are amazing on this. I don't know how you guys can figure that out. All right, let's go to question 4. In Star Wars Episode 5, Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, Luke and Han Solo have to spend the night on the ice planet Hoth inside a Tauntaun to survive. But where on Earth is Hoth? Where is the ice planet Hoth? Where was that filmed? Let's see. Yeah, Alex C says about the last question, I couldn't point out where Tunisia is on a map. Yeah, I don't think I could either. I could point out where Egypt is, but I don't know. And Martha says, you'd have known about Death Valley and the Mojave if you'd grown up in California. Yeah, I grew up on the opposite side of the country, so like, yeah, I know where the Poconos are, but I don't know anything about Death Valley and Mojave. Pretty wants to know if I have any plans on reviewing the Pegasus 38 or the Endorphin Speed 2. Yeah, definitely as soon as they're available to me, or like as soon as they're for sale, I'll get the Endorphin Speed 2. And then the Peg 38. I did a Nike by You like a week ago. I got a notification that they started making it like 2 or 3 days ago, I think. So it's on its way slowly. But again, it's one of those things where no one wanted to send it to me early. So, I'm not in a hurry to get to it. I have a lot of shoes that I'm still really enjoying. So we'll get to it kind of like, in the normal course of when a person can buy these things. So that's like that's the hard part about kind of me trying to keep my distance from some of the companies a little bit. I do enjoy working with brands, but I try not to get too close to them. So like, I'm subject to the same limitations that most of you guys are too. All right. So where is Hoth, the ice planet? Let's scroll down. Will says, I guess somewhere in like northern Finland. All right. That looks great. Good job. Tenry says the back of my fridge. Woodrunner says, I guess Alaska. Josie says Iceland. Yeah. Let's see.
A grandma and grandpa picture.
Oh, that's nice. She's showing me all sorts of pictures from her app. She has a Monster High app that she's playing with. All right. Frank says, didn't Scotty B run to Hoth? Wasn't there there was a place called Hoth, wasn't there? That he ran to? Yeah, I think so. All right. Hoth is, let's see. It is in Norway, on the, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce this correctly, Hardangerfjellkulen Glacier in Finns, Norway. Hardangerfjellkulen Glacier in Finns, Norway. That's where the ice planet of Hoth is. Yeah, I didn't know that. Like, for some reason, it never occurred to me until just today that, like, oh, maybe I can go run on that, because I'd love to go run on Hoth. Again, I feel like all these places should have races. Like, I feel like maybe not Tatooine, like unless I was somehow like in the Dakar Noir, like not, and it's not Dakar, the Dakar race. I said Dakar Noir, like the Cologne, but that there's like that super long endurance race. I don't know if that's anywhere close to Tunisia, or if it goes through it or not. But like, I don't want to run in Tatooine, but I'd love to run on any of these other places. It'd be amazing. All right. Daisy Cutter says, hello from Seoul. First time catching the live stream, but need to hit the hay. Thank you all for your content. Cheers. Well, thank you so much, DC. Good to see you. Get some sleep. I know it's got to be nighttime for you. So glad to see you. All right. Recycle on Wednesday says, you don't get lost in any malls, or you don't get lost in the mall you go to a lot. I don't usually get lost in the mall. I'm usually pretty good about like getting my bearings. I'm from New Jersey. Like there's malls I grew up going to malls. Like we would ride our bikes to the mall, just hang out in the mall. I don't think kids do that anymore. That's not like a thing. It was more important in the days before like smartphones, and when we knew how to like keep instant tabs on each other. You went to the mall because that's where all your friends were. And then you would wander around and roam, and then you'd run into them. That's how you would find and hang out with your friends. I don't know what people did that couldn't go to malls, really. So yeah. All right. Yeah, Martha says only people like Dean Karnazes would do a Sahara race. Yeah, or like I feel like that's the kind of thing that like Goggins does. Like I'm not interested, like the Moab. Like I'm not interested in a hot race. I would gladly do like a crazy cold race. I don't know about gladly, but I think I could do a cold race. I would enjoy that. But I wouldn't enjoy a hot race. I mean, I'm nervous about doing a race in Decorah, Iowa on June 5th because I'm like, it's a 50K and it starts at 6 a.m. But like, I'm going to be finishing in the middle of the day. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be hot and humid. I'm not going to be very happy about that. So, Preeti Gupta wants to know about my running playlist. I do have a playlist on Apple Music that I do keep updated with music that I'm actually listening to. I don't have a playlist of songs that like I've used from the channel, for example. That music, I don't know if it's available on like Apple Music or anything because I use a music service to get that stuff. So that's a little bit different. But the music that I'm listening to, I usually keep on a Kofuzi Run. It's called Kofuzi Run Club playlist. It should be publicly available. But I have one on Spotify too, but I haven't used Spotify in like 2 years. So yeah. Martha says, Mike, you could consider the Antarctica Marathon in half. Yeah, but it takes a long. It's like a 2-week or a 3-week commitment. Because like you got to get to like somewhere. It's like you have to go to like Chile first, usually, or something like that, as a staging area, and then they fly you down, and then you have to get there, and then like. It's like it seems like it takes a lot. Like the brief research that I've done on it seems like it's very expensive because of the fact that like it's not like Southwest flies there, and then it takes a long time to like for all the logistics to line up. So yeah. Mika Kataya says I haven't been to those parts of Norway in years. As a child, we used to drive from Finland through Sweden to Norway and went past there too. Wow, cool. You've been all over, Mika. Because you've been in Tunisia as well. Awesome. Recycle on Wednesday says, I grew up in a mall state too. My friends from New York City came to visit once and they were so horrified. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I spent a significant part of my childhood like in Spencer Gifts and Sam Goody. And I think Spencer Gifts still exists, but Sam Goody definitely died a long time ago. The company. Yeah. All right. Lucas H says, I found a Kofuzi running on Apple Music. It says the owner is Vanessa. That's not me then. I don't know who that would be, but mine is called Kofuzi Run Club. I keep periodically, I keep checking it to like make sure it's public, but I don't know. Martha says, I was joking, but yes, it's a major commitment. A friend who forced me to try running did the Antarctica half. Wow. I feel like if you're going to go with those are two words that are very hard for me to reconcile. Like if you're going to go through all the effort to do a race on Antarctica, like I don't want the word half in it, or like I wouldn't want. What do you think about it? Oh, the hair looks great. I love the colors that you picked. Two colors. Oh yeah, that's good. Pink and blue. Teal and blue. Okay. I wouldn't want the word like sprint or half or mini anywhere in the word for like if I had to go all the way to Antarctica to race. Yeah. Ziv wants to know, did I ever have a stress fracture? I don't think I ever did. Pia Johnson wants to know, are you still heart rate training? I mean, yes. I wear a heart rate monitor every day, every single run. I also have a power meter that I use every day, every single run as well. For most of my runs, I try to keep it under 144 beats per minute. So usually these days I'm in the 130s just because like that's what my body wants to do on like an easy day. It might kind of like peak and surge a little bit here and there as I'm going like up a hill or something, or if I'm hitting a headwind. But for the most part, I'm usually running in like the high 130s. Yeah. Let's see where I got. Drury says, do you ever go on vacations and before you go, you sneak in sneak a look at races in the area and then really think about entering it? No, but like we're at that point. Like my wife is like, you know, I would kind of like have told my wife like, hey, I would love to do a race in Hawaii, and she's like, do it, we'll all go. And so like she's totally in for like me doing a race, and like the kids will just sleep in that day, you know, because I think she knows that otherwise when I go on vacation, I'm like, let's get up, let's go do stuff. She's like that too, but I'm a little bit earlier on that than she is, and so she's like a day where, you know, I can kind of like tire myself out a little bit first. I think she's looking forward to that. So we really want to go. Oh, nice. We really want to go to, there's a Disney resort in Hawaii. And so we want to do that. And I'm going to hopefully try and find a race that I can run while we're out there. So kind of combine two things. So yeah, I think that's something that I'm definitely interested in. Martha says, I think the events in Antarctica are just an excuse to go there because they did all the usual Antarctica sightseeing. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Yeah. That definitely makes sense. Yeah, I don't think you would just go for the race. And I don't think anyone's going to try to set like a PR unless you think you can like set the record for the continent, I guess. But yeah. All right. Chris says, sorry, I just got off a work call. Looks like we moved past Star Wars. No, we're still here. All right, let's do the last two questions. Let's see, what are we on? All right, this is 5. Question number 5. And then we got a bonus today too. So question number 5 for today is Princess Leia grew up on the planet Alderaan. And where on earth is Alderaan? Alderaan was like a very green and lush place, but also had like snow-capped mountains. So very picturesque. Does anyone know where Alderaan is? Oh, Lee Joy Sung says, if I come to Hawaii, Aulani is a great place and maybe I get to meet you in person. Oh, that'd be cool. And Leona says, the only marathon I've done in Hawaii is the Maui Oceanfront Marathon, a small race, but beautiful. Some of the route is alongside the highway, though. Yeah, I would take it. I'd take it. AJ Muntz thinks that Alderaan is in Canada or maybe France. Spence Ohms also thinks Canada. Yeah, I feel like the Banff, was it National Park or something like that? That area totally could be Alderaan. It's such a beautiful area. My dad went there. My parents went there. Not my dad, but like my mom and my dad went. And amazing. Just amazingly beautiful place. Mark thinks it's Alderaan is in Colorado. Drury thinks Switzerland. Martha thinks New Zealand. Are there snow-capped mountains in New Zealand? If someone said like, yeah, I'm from New Zealand, we totally have them, I'd be like, okay. Because I actually don't know. Chris thinks Vancouver, another vote for Canada, another vote for New Zealand. And Brett says clean and lush. Definitely Tokyo. Oh, that could be interesting. And Will says, I know this one, Switzerland. And that's the answer that I have. It's in Grindelwald, Switzerland. Specifically, footage for Planet Alderaan in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, was filmed in Grindelwald, Switzerland. And I think there is a race there. Unless there's like another Grindelwald, there's the E101, which traverses the base of the Eiger North Face. It's 101 kilometers with 6,700 meters of gain. And it describes itself as a mighty challenge to even the most seasoned of trail runners. So intense. I'm freaking out over 5,500 feet of gain, and that race is 6,700 meters. Insane. Frank said, didn't it get blown up? Yes, it did. But it still exists in Grindelwald. So it's still there. All right. Martha says there's a fast downhill race in one of the Hawaiian Islands. It looks like a good BQ race too, since it's downhill, but not that much above sea level. Interesting. That'd be fun. I love me a good downhill race. Brian Paula says, I've been to New Zealand and they definitely have snow-capped mountains. Oh, okay. Cool. All right. All right. So Vlad Vajnar said, when you had the Polar Grid X, have you noticed any issues with the barometer and altitude measurement? I'm getting banana numbers of my ascents and descents. Seems like it's confused by body heat. No, I don't think I had anything super crazy with the Grid X. I think I spent most of my time with the Grid X in Iowa. So like I felt like I had pretty good reading. Whoa, what was that? That was a snap on the there's a technical term for that when the microphone pops like that. But I had it for the most part in Iowa, and I felt like my numbers were real good because I wasn't near any buildings, and so like I felt like the barometric readings were pretty reliable. Here, I'm running with the Vantage V2, and I feel like on an out, I can do an out and back, and rarely will the elevation graph look like a mirror. It should look like a mirror because I'm going out and back literally on the same route, but it usually like seems to be translated like the second half will be lower than the first half, or sometimes vice versa. So I get little fluctuations like that, and I think that that's because of there might be like micro fluctuations in the barometric pressure, because like there's a lot of skyscrapers and then open areas, and that can confuse the watch. But I don't know that I've noticed anything when I'm like in like easier areas. But yeah, I don't think I did. All right. We'll do a running question, and then we'll get to the bonus for a day. Nicholas the Greek says, what is your best shoe for everyday running and the top for marathon races in 2021? I mean, I can only go off the shoes that I've seen so far. The top so far for 2021, I think, is probably so far the Metaspeed Sky. That's what I would want to race in right now, or the Adios Pro, although that's kind of a 2020 shoe. We still have a lot of shoes that haven't been released yet that I'm pretty excited for, like the Endorphin Pro 2, RC Elite 2, Metaspeed Edge, right? Is that what it's called? The other one? Lots of other shoes that I'm very excited for. Adios Pro 2, but we just haven't seen those yet. So of the ones that are released, Metaspeed Sky for me. And then for everyday running, I'll give you a couple. I like the Invincible a lot, and I like the Mach 4 a lot. Those are probably like my top two for everyday shoes. All right. Let's get to the bonus question for today. All right. Bonus. This one's going from Star Wars to Spaceballs. So in Spaceballs, Princess Vespa is from planet Druidia. But where on Earth is the Druidism? What? Let's see. Hold on. Where is the autocorrect changed Druid to Druidism? But where is the Druid castle that is depicted in the movie? So where Princess Vespa's from, the place where I'm trying to think. Yeah, it looks. I mean, it's supposed to be like Alderaan, but it's in Spaceballs, the spoof movie. Today, I found a new trivia site about Spaceballs that said that there was a green light for Spaceballs 3, and it was supposed to be called the Spaceballs 3: The Search for 2, which I knew about. But the new fact that I learned, or I guess that this Spaceballs trivia website seemed to suggest, was that they Rick Moranis had already kind of like decided to leave Hollywood and to focus on a music career or something like that. And the money they were willing to offer him wasn't enough, or just like a really small, almost insulting amount. And so that's why there was never a sequel to that one. Crazy. But all right. So do you guys know where? So there's the castle, the Druid castle. Where is that castle? Any guesses? I'll be surprised if anyone has any guesses at all. Martha thinks Scotland. Let me check my notes on where it is. You're Transylvania. Yeah, you guys are getting closer and closer. Spence thinks Utah. Are there castles in Utah? I bet you there is. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a castle in Utah. Greg MD28 says Ireland. And also thinks Ireland. Scott says he's barf, half man, half dog. Not in here. This is a Mercedes. Brett Reed says 1600 Pennsylvania Ave. That's funny. The correct answer. Let's see if there's any more answers. All right. Oh, Mark says Orlando, the Magic Kingdom. You are probably the closest, not geographically, but really, really, really close. So, and Larry Lawrence says Germany. So also pretty much here's another one where like the answer like confuses me geographically. So the answer that I have for this one is that the castle on the planet Druidia is King Ludwig II Neuschwanstein Castle in Bavaria. That's Germany, right? And I'm so terrible with geography. But Bavaria is not a country. Bavaria is a region in Germany, right? But that castle is not only I think they modified it a little bit for this, like with special effects for the purpose of the movie. But that castle is the same castle that is the original inspiration for all the Disney theme park castles. So it's like the same thing. So when Mark was saying that it's in Orlando, kind of there's the lineage is there. The lineage is definitely there. Drew Reed says, I've been there and it's in Bavaria. Awesome. Oh, Martha said, I wrote Bavaria before you said that. Nice work. Nice work. And Woodrunner says, Bavaria is in southern Germany. Okay, good. I'm learning so much. Oh, man. I have so much to learn, too. And Brian says, I've been to the castle. It's freaking cool looking. Now I really want to go. That'd be cool to check out. Amazing. Amazing. Drew says, crazy guy built it, and it's oddly not very old. It looks much older than really? Great. Really, really weird. Really weird. Winter Runner says, I don't really remember it in the film. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like, isn't that where they like tortured her with like the picture of her old nose? Like, isn't that it? That's not the castle? And then like where they had the king, the druid king, the guy from, what was that show? Is 8 is Enough? Is that the show that he was on? He was on TV he had a long movie and TV career. But he did a lot of his like scenes from the castle too, right? So yeah, Ozen von Bakshow says the Neuschwanstein was built in the late 19th century, so it's not quite original as well. Interesting. I mean, that's strange. That's like make it look really, really old, like from 100 years ago. Like that's strange. Really, really strange. Oh, Dr. Josh is here. What's going on, Dr. Josh? How are you? It says turning late, but better late than never. Good to see you. Good to see you. Awesome. All right. That's it for the trivia for today, guys. Let me clear that. All right, clear that. Thanks everybody so much for playing. I've got to get going for today. Tomorrow's video, I'm going to be talking about the Beacon 3 versus the Flow Velocity Wind, taking 2 shoes with no outsoles and comparing them against each other to see how they do. So that'll be tomorrow's video. And then we'll do another live stream, same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you guys then. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.